Sweat is pouring from his shiny, hairless head. Suddenly, Seventh big brother flew above him, flapping his wings and continuously explaining urgent matters. Information about the flower finally reached Wu Ziyu. He marveled that a flower can be more capable than a monster tree like him. It is possible that because of this, the whole Federation will be greatly shaken by the story of people competing to steal the flower to get the seeds to do what they want. I'm afraid the bold Demon King won't be able to fight against all of humanity's elite. They came to rob, so they definitely brought a lot of strong people with them. But he couldn't let those humans hold the flower in his hands. So the only person who can replace him at work is none other than the eldest nine-tailed fox. It had been standing there as if waiting for a mission for a long time. People burst into strength when they heard Wu Ziyu say, "You go steal that flower back." Will the nine-tailed fox have to fight tooth and nail with the humans to win that flower that talks and breathes? And what is that flower really that can know the world around it? Perhaps there was another young man who just drank water and choked to death. Manhwa had just made her public debut and shocked all directions. It's as attractive as a bar of gold lying in the middle of the road, like a beautiful unmarried girl that everyone wants to win. But this girl is not a country girl but a demon girl who can seduce and enchant people's hearts, causing them to go crazy and kill each other. Recently, Wang Hao's team, one of the 10 great masters, could not resist the charm and went crazy in the forest. Before we knew how that group would survive or die, another group had entered. This time it is also the team of one of the 10 great masters. This team, like the previous team, walked through the forest. Zhao Jiao lived farther away than Wang Hao, so he didn't arrive until it was getting dark. This place is dark and creepy. Even though Zhao Jiao had reached rank 2, he couldn't help but be wary. He leads his team forward, mentally stressed, face wrinkled like a monkey's face. After walking a bit, I met my best friend sitting absent-mindedly on a deadly track. Wang Hao bowed his head to the ground and said nothing as if his lover had just broken up with him. But since Wang Hao doesn't have a lover, why is he sitting so still? Someone with full experience like Zhao Jiao of course saw it. "Wang Hao, where is your army?" After hearing the blue head's question, the white head glanced up and looked at his serious face, warning them, "If anyone is too weak, don't jump in as long as your strength is lower than rank 2. He will definitely be bewitched by the spirit flower and will lose his sanity and will definitely die." Does that mean my friend killed all his juniors? There is no one next to me. Kindly stay here and wait and then remind me that you surprised me so much. Wang Hao did not bother to deny that he had killed the brothers who came to this place and could not leave because of fear. Now he needs someone. Surely everyone knows that besides Mr. Zhao Jiao, there is no other person ranked 2nd. Come along or not. Say it right away so people know where to wait. In response to Wang Hao's unattractive invitation, Zhao Jiao was of course wary. Who knows if Wang Hao was fascinated by the flower and lost his consciousness, and then came out here to trick him. He silently thought for a moment. Although the invitation was not attractive, the flower was attractive. In the end, he still decided to go with Wang Hao. Before Zhao Jiao left, he ordered his juniors to stay behind and guard him, so he could pick up the flowers himself. The remaining kids listened to the deputy captain and worked and took care of things. After finishing, the 2 owners, one green and one red, rushed inside. Looking at this scene, I remember the little Ant Tiangwen and the mantis leader Feng. I wonder if the 2 of you will become husband and wife and then divorce like them. But now they're driving as fast as the 2 of them. Even though he was traveling at the speed of light, Zhao Jiao still obeyed traffic laws. When walking on the road, look carefully ahead and behind. Besides not wearing a helmet while racing, he is still an exemplary traffic participant. Zhao Jiao saw that under those storks, there was a group of people with their faces covered in black. He looks like a ninja. Meeting a ninja on the street is not fun. A group of ordinary people also wanted to compete for the spirit flower from the tiger's mouth. Until then, they don't know when they will die. I've never met him and I already despise him. Wang Hao cannot accept such a wife who doesn't care about anyone. No one will help you in the future. Will definitely be at a disadvantage. Zhao Jiao didn't care how arrogant Wang Hao cursed him. He only cares about that delicious flower. He rushed straight into the forest. Wang Hao chased after him and was unspeakably tired. Looking behind, I only saw 2 spots of light like headlights. When Zhao Jiao saw that group of people, he was unhappy. But when they saw him and Wang Hao, they were very happy, because if they go ahead and pave the way, it will be easier for them to enter. Not only them in this forest, there are countless other people too, enough to form 2 teams. Some people walk alone like a man wearing a torn hat. Some people choose to go together for peace of mind. The dark team and the light team went into the forest. There are so many people, but no one has goodwill. The spirit flower has just hatched and only wants to be eaten alive. When the flower sees it, it immediately wants to pull the root up. Before he could swallow a few pieces of oxygen, he had to fight hard to keep his life. Luckily, it itself is not a lifeless flower. It knows how to charm to manipulate others. It can still fascinate humans, let alone animals. Around it there are all kinds of monsters that it manipulates. Whichever animal I have 2 red eyes ready to follow its command to bite and tear humanity. But humanity is not ordinary. If they were weak, they would have gone extinct a long time ago. Blue sword, red sword slashed the entire forest. Just the 2 of them, Wang Hao and Zhao Jiao, were more than enough to defeat the beasts. In the forest, there is no shortage of animals and human strength is limited. The deeper you go, the more animals there are. Fight until your arms get tired. Those monsters are of course controlled by the spirit flower. There are even rank 1 beasts. Lotus flowers are not poppy flowers, so why does it make you lose your brain to smell one? If you hold out the map, you're almost there. The more animals there are, the closer the flowers will be. Walk faster or you'll be hungry. Everyone knows you have to walk quickly. It's a pity that you want to go but can't. Suddenly there were 2 handsome guys in the middle of the forest, causing a bunch of monsters to gather and ask for autographs. Just signed for a few small fans. Now big fans came and shocked the whole area. The spirit power source was so dense that it made me sweat, but looking left and right, I couldn't see any fans. It turns out it fell from the sky. The black horse with a head and green eyes jumped towards Wang Hao and Zhao Jiao. It splashed water and trampled rocks. After landing, used the buffalo's 2 nostrils to exhale. Its whole body is sinewy and its face is scary. Are you a fan? Even real fans wouldn't dare admit it. This demon is ranked 2nd, not cute at all, very critical. When those 2 generals saw it, they immediately gritted their teeth. Idols seeing fans with this kind of attitude is not okay. They should form an anti-group. The group leader is this 2nd-ranked bird. From above, he clearly saw the true faces of the 2 hot boys, so now he is very angry. It was not enough to curse with its beak, but it had to call the black horse to come and curse with it. The 2 of them are dozens of times bigger than Wang Hao and Zhao Jiao combined. Each person spat a piece of saliva and the other 2 men drowned. Whoever has time to welcome retreating fans, don't waste your energy on them. After saying that, he ran away as fast as lightning. The fighting over there was extremely fierce. On this side, the waves are calm and the sea's calm. Spirit flower looms in the middle of the lake without a ripple. It seemed like he was busy teasing Wang Hao's team, so he didn't notice the guy with the torn hat looking at him from afar. The spirit flower was right in front of my eyes, and I didn't see any strange beast taking this flower. Spirit power increased many times. Currently, the guy with the torn hat has reached rank 2 and with more flowers. He will advance to rank 3. Rank 4 can also happen. That's the problem after absorption. Before the guy with the torn hat could even touch it, he was shaken and turned upside down. After that earthquake, Wang Hao and Zhao Jiao rushed out from the forest. The 2 of them finally arrived. Zhao Jiao quickly saw the spirit flower before his eyes. It turns out that I couldn't find it anywhere. How could the fans run away and end up here? The fans are still behind here. The 4 of us had so much fun playing tag. No one discovered the man who was wearing a torn hat. Spirit flower is close, of course I have to take it. Darling, go pick flowers and let me take care of these 2 ancient fans. After hearing this, Zhao Jiao was delighted and immediately rushed towards the spirit flower. Once you eat, don't regret it. The guy with the torn hat has been hiding all this time. If he still hides at this point, I will also come and bow. Fortunately, he was not crazy and quickly rushed to win the spirit flower with Zhao Jiao. Both of them rushed forward and crashed straight into the flower. But in real life, it's not that easy to eat. Spirit flower has long been prepared to protect her side. Under the calm water surface, the silhouette of a large, long creature appeared. When the other two discovered it, it rushed up. The cobra opened its throat towards the two unreal sublimes. It took one bite and then crashed into the lake, sucking in a full belly of water but not getting any meat, because its meals escaped very quickly. In less than a second, it jumped out of my throat. But it's okay if I miss one piece. I'll take another. As long as you still have your throat, you can't close it no matter how many times you do it. This snake is probably the spirit flower's last line of defense. Bull Demon King, the nine-tailed fox, didn't even come here quickly. The boss will deduct your salary now. The beautiful spirit flower everyone wants to marry, but not everyone dares to come. They have ambition, but no ability, so they have to sit at home and turn on the TV to watch. For example, this sister at the Spirit Power Surveillance Department. You're probably familiar with her. It's the girl who wants to make channel bags out of crocodile leather, and often bites her nails when she's stressed. Today, I don't see her biting her nails anymore. It's probably because the situation isn't tense enough. I've only just discovered that there are 12 people with over 100,000 spirit power, so there's nothing to panic about. But where did I find 8 more people with over 300,000 spirit power? Save me, oh God, kill me, oh God. Let's show the kids on the screen. Quickly find the exact number and give it to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both humans and animals. 4 unreal sublimes and 2 monsters. Wait, there's another kid in the frame behind. Zoom in for me. Oh my God, this tall, black, foul-smelling one with 4 horns is the Bull Demon King of Dashin Labyrinth. So it has already appeared. It's not strange for Dashin Labyrinth to care about spirit flowers. Even though Heecholin also came here, she still didn't know that the 7-colored flower in this area was the most suitable for her. Those lowly kids all moved aside for her. If only I registered my household registration a little closer to the flowers, it would be less painful. Wang Hao and Zhao Jiao fought 77 out of 49 battles in this match, but Big Sister and Bull Demon King still haven't arrived. The stork is chirping here and it hurts my head, so I have to stop chatting. The person who locked the bird's muzzle was none other than Wang Hao. He jumped up and carried the sword with the spirit power charge straight into the crazy bird's throat. The green sword cut through. Blood splashed in one blow, causing the bird to be destroyed. The bird fell and crushed its bones into the lake. On this side, he wore a torn hat, and Zhao Jilo's fight with Baby Snake was also very intense. The two jumped up and down like fleas. After a while of jumping, Zhao Jio got lost and crashed headfirst into the spirit flower. Oh my God, are you really lost? It's not intentional. You wear a torn hat, believe me. I'm lost. So let's pick flowers. Spirit flower is close at hand, just need to pull it up and it's done. Looking at Zhao Jio's face, you can see how happy it is. Unfortunately, this place isn't just 3 people and 3 animals. At least now there was another animal added. The second big brother Bull Demon King rushed forward from somewhere and swung his axe across Zhao Jio's face. Bull Demon King's appearance was very cool, but unfortunately, Zhao Jio quickly dodged its slash. The supporting characters who live so long are so annoying. Even so, he dared to glare at the second big brother. However, the second big brother doesn't care. You glared at me with 2 eyes, and I glared at you with 3 eyes. Not only that, this axe also has this billowing spirit power source. Do you want a duel with me? The piece of food that reached my mouth slipped away. An angry Zhao Jiao immediately agreed to a duel. He even boldly challenged, since the Bull Demon King has come here, he should never return. After speaking, he immediately summoned a purple snake to wrap around him, his heavenly endowment, Snake Control. Thien Fu Snake Control gives the ability to create and manipulate snakes using Zhao Jiao's spirit power. In addition, he also gave him a layer of snake scales. Like right now, that scale has covered half of his body after summoning the purple snake baby. Zhao Jiao immediately manipulated it and rushed to bite the second big brother. Bull Demon King was not afraid to use the Warlord Lava move to cut the snake in half. But unexpectedly, after being cut into pieces, the snake did not disappear, but instead turned to secretly bite Bull Demon King. It was naturally split open and had 2 mouths biting from both sides. But the snake did not expect that the Bull Demon King could manipulate gravity to directly push it into the water. Thought that the second big brother had won against Zhao Jiao. I don't understand why it continues to have more surprises. Gravity cannot press the two halves of baby snake to the ground. A purple snake emerged from the gravity zone. Bold Demon King did not foresee this. He thought his gravity was absolute, but he was not just a moment away from having his head blown off. Fortunately, that snake was burned immediately. Hecholing narrowly saved the Bold Demon King from adversity. She rushed past without forgetting to remind her, don't fight them from afar, fight in close combat. Stupid. Who boss? The big sister who bullied me doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't love me anymore. I was so upset that I splashed water on Unreal Sublime's face so he could choke to death. After Hecholing finished reminding the Bold Demon King, he immediately rushed away. If you want to tell your boss or say something, go home and say it. The second big brother pleads beat that guy to death for me. The guy in question couldn't help but be startled when he saw Hecholing rushing inside. He screamed loudly for her cock, but she didn't pay attention. Fart and smell it. This lady hates snakes. You are not my cup of tea, goodbye. Even though he was spurned by Hecholing, Zhao Jiao still stubbornly chased after him. Unfortunately, he was stopped by the bride's family. Bold Demon King once again swung his axe and slashed at Zhao Jiao. This time, Zhao Jiao couldn't dodge in time, so he had to pull out the snake to block it. Water splashed. Zhao Jiao opened his mouth to curse and swallowed a lot of water. Stupid, don't you see that woman? You son of a bitch, don't see my sister cursing me for being stupid and start cursing me. If you touch my family, don't expect to survive. Zhao Jiao is going crazy. The rice that was brought to my mouth fell away. Now fighting this crazy buffalo for half an hour may not be enough. Obnoxious. If you already hate it, the second big brother doesn't need to respect you at all. Just now using gravity didn't work. Now use it to hold down the snake breeder. Indeed, close combat is correct. Snakes are not suppressed by gravity, but Zhao Jiao is. Very quickly I was no longer steady on my feet. While he struggled to defy gravity, Bold Demon King took the opportunity to launch Warlord Lava across his face. Zhao Jiao was hit directly and was thrown 200 meters away, hitting the water surface and then crashing into the mountain. Received extremely serious damage that caused him to suddenly contract tuberculosis, vomiting a lot of blood. Zhao Jiao's hot temper cannot be ignored by the Bold Demon King. He screamed with murderous intent, then summoned countless purple snakes determined to devour the second big brother. Oh my friend, that means you've lost. Look at our Bold Demon King. He doesn't even bother to frown. On this side, Hecholing finally reached the spirit flower. When he got closer, he realized that this flower was incredibly big. I thought she was a pretty baby, but I didn't expect it to be bigger than Hecholing. This flower sparkles in many colors, glowing brightly in the lake. It carries within it a great source of spirit power, but unfortunately it has roots but no legs, no ability to defend themselves at all. Hecholing came closer to observe. Right now, I can't uproot myself. I can't run away. I can't fight. I can't. Let's negotiate. Spirit Flower told Hecholing, you are not human. Your aura and mine are the same. The newly bloomed flower can be said to have a consciousness similar to Wu Ziyu. In the past, he had just been born from the willow tree and immediately knew how to speak. Naturally, there was a round egg spinning at the bottom of the abyss that stirred up the Federation in just over a year. This flower resembles Wu Ziyu and cannot let it fall into the hands of humanity. The confrontation from now on will be very difficult. After thinking for a while, King decided to crawl out of Hecholing. For what? Of course I gave this body to him. Spirit Flower has intelligence and the ability to manipulate other creatures. Giving a body is the most suitable. This time it brought many people. King cannot protect it alone. Give it a body to protect itself, or at least 2 legs to run quickly. As soon as we met, he gave me such a unique gift. Not only that, but also his own body. Why do you want to help it? The others all want to eat it. It's easy to understand because we are the same species. Take this corpse and consider signing a contract to work at my company. My family has a lot of Lingxi in the future, and will let you absorb it for free, so you don't have to worry about losing anything. Before I knew if Spirit Flower had signed a labor contract with Reign of the Kingdom, the camera guy ran outside to film this crazy bird. How the hell is this animal still not dead? It's beaked and squawking all this time. No matter how many times you ban shit, it won't work for your whole body. There's no place that Wong Hao hasn't slashed. For example, this time when I slashed its throat, Blood splattered everywhere. The bird opened its mouth and cursed loudly, but it still refused to die, so this crazy person has the ability to recover. The wing that was just cut was very fast, but it was like new again. This one isn't too strong, but it's very tough and won't break. Wang Hao was having a headache when he heard a loud explosion behind him, immediately attracting his attention. The Bull Demon King and Zhao Jiao, who were fighting, also had to turn to look. Not only them but everyone here hurriedly looked towards the direction of the explosion. Was Xiaoling launching spirit power thousands of meters high right before their eyes? Xiaoling stood in the middle of that spirit power column, his hair standing on end. Around her were 10 spirit flower wings. So, the spirit flower received Xiaoling's body and merged with that body into one. The harmony between the two entities releases great power, but at the same time liberates the surrounding creatures that are being controlled. Their eyes went from crazy blue back to their original color one after another. Baby Snake got his purple eyes back, the crazy bird got his golden pupils back, and they all no longer wanted to protect the spirit flower. At this time, they wanted to eat and swallow the spirit flower, but in fact, from the beginning, they had no intention of protecting the flower. It was just that on the way to the flower, they were unfortunately manipulated by the spirit flower. Now that there is awareness, they will continue to do what they want to do. There will even be more wrath. Little Snake was the first to jump up, followed by Black Horse, a crazy bird, and everyone was shaking as if boiling water had been poured down their butts. Outsiders looked in and feared that they would escape control and be even more ferocious than before. Even so, we can't let them get the flower. Neither can Xiaoling. If you rush out now, when will you wait? They rushed towards Xiaoling. Zhao Jiao also wanted to fight to the end, but Bull Demon King did not allow it. So there were only a few animals and a few ageless extras who rushed forward. But it's not necessarily a good thing to arrive early. In this case, it is true that we do not see happiness, only misfortune. Xiaoling gently turned around and silently called, "Fire Yi." Very quickly, butterflies flew from 1 or 2 to thousands. They flew out from Xiaoling's body in bright flocks in the middle of the lake. Just wait for her to give a signal and then immediately fly straight towards the enemy. When the animals saw how small Fire Yi was, they looked down on them and didn't bother to dodge. They opened their throats and shouted at Xiaoling. Who would have thought that after that scream, there would be an explosion? Fire Yi, which was flying around in front of him for a moment, burst into flames and turned into a large column of fire. Fire entered the throat and burned from the inside out. Anyone who was hit was burned until they were beyond shape. In the end, only steam rose violently behind the Bull Demon King. The explosion from those countless fire Yi shook the entire surface of the lake. The unreal sublime guys wearing masks outside are very disdainful. A group of brainless idiots rushed forward like moths and died. Standing outside, I could only laugh. I just didn't expect Xiaoling's firepower to be so terrible that it evaporated the entire country. Evaporating it in the middle of the lake is terrifying. From the steam, Baby Snake's head fell out, still intact. Well, it's convenient to bury him. Later, when he builds a tombstone, he can also write a story. Xiaoling had now stopped releasing spirit power. However, the flower petals continued to surround her even more. Xiaoling's expression was also a bit different. The most different thing is that the eyes feel like they are empty and lifeless. The changes in the eyes are so obvious that even unreal sublimes wearing tight masks can see it. They wondered if Xiaoling had been controlled by directly touching the spirit flower. That's right. Xiaoling is now in a different position, compared to his peers who are still drinking milk tea and eating rice paper. Xiaoling has become the host of spirit flower. That's it. It took all the effort to travel a long way to get here, but I couldn't even get a single wing of the spirit flower. What's more troublesome is that from now on, there will be more strong people. After the spirit flower entered Xiaoling's body, he directly upgraded his power to 490,000 spirit power. Now it's like a monster that makes him afraid. Unlike them, Xiaoling next to him was extremely excited. She didn't forget to ask Spirit Flower if she was used to using that body. How can I get used to it? How can I get used to it the first time? But this body can still get stronger. After hearing this, Xiaoling was surprised. Still don't understand what the flower is saying. Isn't the powerful spirit power launch just now the limit? Don't let Xiaoling be confused for too long. The spirit flower controlled Hicholing's body to soar high, carrying a few flower petals with her. At a reasonable height, it roars like a monster, accompanied by that scream once again releasing a terrible spirit power column that crashes into the sky. Each time was 100 times more intense than the last time, as if Son Goku was changing his hair color. Hicholing diffused the four directions spirit power, almost blowing people away. Wang Hao tried very hard to stand firm. I didn't expect it to be this strong. Wang Hao stood so far away and the wind blew so strongly that he almost flew away, not knowing what would happen to Bull Demon King and Zhao Jiao. The two of them said they received a combination of storm wind and lake water hitting their faces. Oh God, Mom, I know it's strong, but do we need to go to this extent? It's truly beyond imagination. Just screaming is powerful. If you slap someone at this time, that person's teeth and lips will mix together. After Hicholing finished screaming, he landed on the body of the black horse. From head to toe, thick spirit power flowed out of her, making her look like a demon. Spirit power has already reached 700,000. The guy wearing the torn hat saw it and gritted his teeth. He said that if Hicholing was simply controlled by a strange beast, he could be killed by hand. But now things are different. Although it was true that she was controlled by the spirit flower, people from the outside looking in did not realize that. This situation was more like Hicholing had successfully absorbed the spirit flower. Killing her now is impossible, and if possible, it would be openly waging war on the Federation. The federal government certainly won't leave it alone. It's true that the federal case won't leave it alone, but what about the manual killing case? You only have 320,000 spirit power. Do you have any intellectual problems or not? It sounds so absurd. Before the great power of the spirit flower in Hicholing's body, King couldn't help but be happy. He really didn't expect this move to still exist. It's too great. Mrs. King was howling with joy when the spirit flower poured a bucket of cold water and woke her up. This move is only temporarily strong. After a while it will collapse again. It's like when the ult runs out, you have to wait for cooldown. But it's okay, with 700,000 spirit power, few people can beat it. Spirit Flower said that in addition to the easily visible ones here, there were also a few more hiding in the bushes. It can sense many strange breaths of humanity. They were all waiting for an opportunity to jump in. They were shouting so loudly that they accidentally called in a lot of animals. Having so many fans at the same time, I'm afraid my body won't be able to handle it. Moreover, even if it escapes this lake, it doesn't know where to go. Oh my God, you're right. I know there are many places for you to choose from. First, you can consider Tian Shan. That place where humanity does not dare to trespass is just survival in the extremely cruel Tian Shan. I don't know if you can bear it. The proposal is not reasonable at all. Ran out of the lake to avoid being beaten by people, and then went to Tian Shan to struggle to survive there. Are you crazy? This is the spirit flower cursing in its head. Actually, spirit flower remained silent and didn't say anything. However, its facial expression also shows that it had already thought about it. If you do not agree with the first proposal, consider the second proposal, Northern U, where our headquarters is. Northern U? An attractive invitation. It found quite a few images in Hicholing's mind, but I don't understand why the colorful flower is hesitant. Her face was serious, unlike someone who saw Hicholing's beautiful and happy memories in that foggy place all year round. In the background, Hicholing continues to do psychological work, thinking over and over again. How many other options are there, my friend? Tian Shan and Northern U are still two mountains. There, we were lucky not to be hunted down. If you agree, I will go find that animal so it can take you away. Who else is the beast that Hicholing talked about other than the Bull Demon King? Must bring out a prominent resident of Northern U for credibility. The other flower turned around and looked at Hicholing with blue eyes and said he had a question to ask. If you're wondering, just ask why your face is making the problem worse. She asked Hicholing if he was from Dashan Labyrinth. Northern U can also be understood as Dashan Labyrinth. Great question. Excellent question. Hicholing is not from Dashan Labyrinth. Just suddenly my soul drifted to that place. After being adopted by a boss, I naturally started working for him. So now I just advertise that place. Hicholing did not answer, but the smile on his lips was a statement. The seven-color flower continued. I have a favor to ask of you. The whole lake was filled with steam. No one could clearly see what was going on inside. No one could hear what he wanted to ask He-Choling to do. Only where Bull Demon King and Zhao Jiao were fighting, no one was willing to lose. No matter how fast Zhao Jiao uses Bull Demon King, he can knock it away, gradually making him lose his composure. Two heavenly snakes opened their mouths and rushed forward with their owner, who was now screaming loudly, "Go and die!" Bull Demon King does not have a screaming style when fighting. He frowned and looked at the man in front of him, not knowing what fear of death was, ready to give Zhao Jiao a wake-up call. Unexpectedly, from afar, He-Choling's body took the spotlight, kicked him back in the jaw. Having someone help out is generally a leisurely thing. Bull Demon King simply watched as Zhao Jiao was kicked away like a trash bag, hitting the water below a few times and then flying far away. He-Choling's body landed next to the Bull Demon King. His whole body was rumbling with spirit power, but his voice was low enough to whisper enough for the Bull Demon King to hear. "Quickly take the spirit flower and leave here. I'll be here to hold them back." But Zhao Jiao is tougher than this leech. Now he was crawling on the water's surface, determined not to let go. Thanks to such a simple thing, Bull Demon King naturally felt nervous when looking at He-Choling. Sweat poured down on its dense fur and it stammered a few-word answer. "Oh-ok." Nothing like the usual cool Bull Demon King. That He-Choling knew that the Bull Demon King saw something different about this girl. But now we have to focus on solving the guy in front of us first. She easily called the whirlpools, rising straight up like a tornado. Although masked people specialize in hiding, they like to wear bright yellow that stands out. They've been just waiting around for a while now. Seeing that human girl erect several columns of water cannons was like watching a top competition. I'm not sure if these guys want to steal the flower or just come to watch for fun. To protect her long hair from getting wet, dozens of swirling tornadoes were called outside. He-Choling also summoned a fireball to protect himself. Any drop of water that touches it evaporates immediately. This appearance can only be majestic. Background effects had all kinds of effects. The water cannons collided with He-Choling's fireball, sending blinding white steam to every possible place. A few people who were looking around, whether in the inner circle or the far circle, were thrown by it and completely lost their vision. Everyone covered their eyes with their hands trying to see what the hell was going on inside. But it seems a bit helpless. This place looked like there was a massive steam storm that obscured the entire view for a radius of kilometers. In the storm's eye, the spirit flower flew from somewhere and flew down to where the Bull Demon King was standing. Its true body appears as a colorful flower with no branches or leaves. It approached the Bull Demon King, who was glaring at me, and asked, "Why don't you go quickly? It hasn't seen the spirit flower yet. Now let it look a little, urge so much." I have to urge, because the unreal sublime crowd out there can't see but can smell the spirit power of the flower moving differently. The whole group of people hiding in the dust are now jumping into action. They came to steal the flower anyway. Anyone can fight. As long as I get the spirit flower back for myself. This guy with a big nose was walking alone, but he was also very hot-blooded. He tried to rush forward and refused to give up with a giant spoon. Maybe he was planning on scooping spirit flowers with this or something. He screamed, "It's mine, it's all mine. I can't let you escape after enduring this long." If the game were that easy, you wouldn't be a supporting character. The yellow light shot from somewhere right below the flight path of the big-nosed guy. The steam drifted aside, startling him. Hidden in the mist is He-Choling, whose hand has not yet been retracted. His eyes stared intently as if to warn you that if you move one more meter you will die. Those who talk a lot are the ones who lie. This sister doesn't speak. She just coldly stays silent and shoots out spirit power. "You watch out for me." The big-nosed guy stuck his face in the water not far from Zhao Jiao. It was clear that He-Choling's shot had collided somewhere, causing him to lose his momentum and fall down like that. Zhao Jiao glanced at her but ignored him as he grimaced and cried in pain. It was definitely painful. Every blow He-Choling threw was fatal. It was very lucky to avoid it. In situations like this, just smile confidently. He-Choling was less angry, coming out from behind the smoke like a main character, but these two guys now didn't know what to do to deal with her. So Zhao Jiao turned to cursing loudly. "You fat bastard, are you really following me? Suddenly when you're stressed, you call someone fat. Do you stigmatize my body? Normally, if I get scolded, I will curse back, but let's ignore it for now. Zhao Jiao, are you confident in defeating her? Normally he would say yes. This arrogant expression is trademarked, but this time Zhao Jiao hesitated. It's hard to say yes or not. She's still under control. Who knows how much power she can unleash? And I don't know if the power emitted is really hers. Wearing blue human eyes, her spirit is 100% Hicholing's. Perhaps when talking just now, Spirit Flower quickly gave her a pair of green contact lenses specifically for Halloween cosplay. Hicholing glanced towards the spirit power side of the flower. Seeing it moving, it seemed that the Bull Demon King had successfully picked up the flower. In that misty layer of steam, Spirit Flower thanks to a fairly simple task. I give you back your body. You pretend to be controlled and create chaos so I can escape. Do you agree? I agree. So Hicholing now has a smile on her face. Normally living as a person devoted to the Federation is tiring. This time, there is such an opportunity for Hicholing to have a satisfying time with these people. Her spirit power flared up fiercely. It was planned that this trip when you guys came here to steal flowers, you were about to be beaten. It's not true that Bull Demon King brought spirit flowers with him. The flower just flies at its own speed. The Bull Demon King's muscular legs sped away at the speed of light, breaking through the smoke, heading straight towards Dashin Labyrinth. When the battle of speed has been started, there will always be those who respond. This guy doesn't run horizontally like the Bull Demon King, but instead chooses to shoot vertically. The kestrel spread its wings and stared at Wang Hao, making him both annoyed and angry. Is this bird a leech? It keeps fighting and won't die. How dare you call me a leech, man? My name is Northern Ming. It sounds so good. If you make me crazy, you won't be able to escape from here, master of White Emperor City. Wang Hao held the sword staring at the bird, ready to fight. After all, both of them are at rank 2 and have used up all their strength and still don't know who will die and who will live. But instead of diving straight down, Northern Ming just flapped his wings in the air and told Wang Hao a few words. Humans, please wait for me. After screaming, it spread its wings and flew away from the lake area, not wanting to fight the human below. It's finding a new direction. Who's free to waste time here? Wang Hao looked in the direction of the high-flying bird, making sure it wouldn't come back, and suddenly felt relieved. Finally gone. What bird is tougher than a leech? I already said less karma. Northern Ming had left, but it seemed like someone still didn't give up and stuck 2 chopsticks into the ground behind Wang Hao. It was not Hicholing who unleashed his power to kill him, but 2 familiar comets that suddenly fell and punctured the ground behind him. These people were definitely part of the karma group that had just been sent flying to the ground, but the first sentence that came up was still a curse. She is too strong, too strong. Turns out it's not the Spirit Flower or the Bull Demon King. But Hicholing is the final boss here. Having been stuck between the humans and Dashin Labyrinth for so long, Hicholing was tired. Now I have the opportunity to slap these rude people in the face. Let's see what they can do to you. The big-nosed guy gritted his teeth, his face covered in wounds and blood, unwilling, but he certainly realized how big the difference in strength was. Zhao Jiao was so angry that his teeth became sharp because he gritted his teeth so much. He was so angry, 2 against 1, but he lost and lay down here. Now he doesn't know how to deal with the girl in front of him. Wang Hao realized that the girl Hicholing with extraordinary strength was not an easy person to deal with. The people who are the most difficult to deal with are being controlled and naturally find their future as dark as the steam here. But the 2 guys behind saw the word helpless. Well, as for Wang Hao, the most healthy of the 3, he took a step forward and said in a low voice, I will stop her. You guys go chase the spirit flower. Surely everyone has felt that the flower's spirit power is very close to the Bull Demon King's spirit power. We definitely cannot let that flower fall into Dashin Labyrinth's hands. A scared willow tree and then another 7-colored flower will surely create a combination that no one can solve. The spirit flower is running at full speed to leave this place. Just go back to Raid of the Kingdom and you won't have to worry about fighting humans anymore. But the owner of the place where the egg was as round as a 7-month-old egg suddenly had no nose but sneezed loudly. So many people mentioned it, but Wu Ziyu didn't feel like it. He wiped the snot from his nose and wondered if the kids had won the spirit flower yet. In action stories, whoever speaks up to be the hero usually dies early. You fan the donkey's flame to see if Wang Hao is roasted. Wang Hao, how could he give in? He frowned and gritted his teeth until his face changed color under his white hair. Look at my sword here. The two streams of power collided, not knowing who won. But the first impact on the water surface was that it shot up into a giant column of water, splashing raindrops that fell on the heads and necks of the group wearing yellow clothes as they ran away. Even though I'm running like crazy, I still can't get rid of the habit of waiting for stories. Looking back at the newly created battlefield, I couldn't help but exclaim that the strength of the two young people was truly beyond my imagination. Still clinging to the theory that poor Hechuling was controlled by the spirit flower. Normally, her strength is not ordinary, and adding the 7-colored flower spirit power can only increase rapidly. Adding second-rank Wang Hao, in addition to his stubborn personality, his strength is formidable enough to be able to fight hand-to-hand with that girl. Behind the thick yellow mask, the green-headed guy, I don't know why he thinks of the other two guys. Luckily, they couldn't come or else they would definitely have ended up fighting, and not playing gorillas like they are now. Run faster, he wants to get out of the fighting range of the other two people. Take the time to finish what you need to do and then leave this place. Golden eyes shined under the mask, not coming here to have fun, coming here to take flowers and go home. No matter what force it is, even if the bull demon king jumps out to block the way. Lam Ding Guard must have this flower. Not only are the yellow-shirted ninjas chasing Bull Demon King, but there are also many other groups chasing after him. Oh, is there any animal that looks like mini versions of Wayne Wolf and Bull Demon King? Behind them, there was also a herd of wolves, snakes, and giraffes with very eye-catching hairstyles, roaring and running after them. The big-nosed guy hugged his wound and tried his best to run after Zhao Jiao to catch up with Bull Demon King's group. Running takes effort and grits teeth. He decided that if he intercepted it, he would make beef stew for the whole village to eat for 7 days and 7 nights. If you are good, run up and compete for food. Bull Demon King is also gnashing his teeth and cursing loudly. There's no need for humans. It already has dozens of fans chasing after it. Carrying 2 pairs of giant horns, he rushed away into the night. But the Bull Demon King also cursed. Damn! Why are there more and more people chasing behind? I'm not an idol. I don't even know how to sign autographs. So can I chase after you? Spirit Flower felt so guilty that she had to speak up. It wasn't because of his charm, it was because of me, because of my spirit power. They were attracted by the spirit power and ran over. In their eyes, the Spirit Flower was like a multi-purpose, multi-use nutritional supplement that was also free. Whoever is quick will put it in his mouth and eat it. Bull Demon King is not afraid of anyone. But if I keep running at this speed, I'm afraid that my spirit power will quickly run out and I won't be able to operate my powerful legs anymore. Spirit Flower doesn't have legs to run like the Bull Demon King, so moving is much simpler. Around its petals flare up a fierce spirit power that looked like Hechuling's fire. He said let him do this matter. It was thought that it would blow away the demonic beasts behind, but it did not buff spirit power into Bull Demon King's entire body so that it would have more running power. The Bull Demon King let out a scream because of the strange feeling in his soul. It was not that he had turned into a young girl, but he howled because of the power flooding his body. He stumped his clawed foot down with a thud as if gaining momentum. Bull Demon King skipped running and switched to leaping. It jumped once, causing the ground to crack, looking like a rocket carrying the Spirit Flower, and the two of them flying in a straight line. From now on, let's call him the Bull Demon King. He's so fast that there's no other animal that can keep up with the two of them. The group of people used their legs to chase after them and immediately felt scared. He opened his 4 eyes and looked, praying that a police officer would come by and arrest him. But no, the Bull Demon King with the Spirit Flower rushed out and burned the whole ground. I heard a whooshing sound, and then the fire flared up as if someone had set fire to the forest. The whole green forest burst into a strange yellow light like a satyr opening a concert, inviting the audience to come in and watch. Today's hills and mountains are strangely bustling, not as quiet as usual. Running in the opposite direction from Bull Demon King with a 9-tailed fox and stupid tiger following Kim Chiang. They were reinforcements, and being so late made the 9-tailed fox impatient. He accelerated and drove as fast as possible, but he still felt like he had a premonition of something bad. Urged the two of them to hurry up. Kim Chiang sat on White Tiger's body, so he couldn't speed up his legs and could only speed up his mouth. He urged the boy to run faster to keep up with his senior, but the white tiger gently told him to hold on. It also tried its best to flap its wings. Seeing that his sister was so strong, the nine-tailed fox also wore spirit power. Don't forget that I also have great tricks. One blue, white, one red, orange shot away like two rockets so fast that from King of Wine's perspective, it was like two stars emitting sparkling light in the sky. A winged tiger and a jet-red fox are a perfect couple. Leaving King of Wine watching and wondering, don't you know it's my fault that flying? Who knows when his snow bears will grow wings? He has never seen a bear that can fly. Why is it so strange to call for reinforcements? Then remember when King of Wine asked Nine-Tailed Fox to race. Race with me? If you don't bother to answer, you already understand, nothing more. At what age can you race with a nine-tailed fox? King Kiang crawled up from the ground, looked up and asked, have these two been deliberately slowing down to wait for us? Why do I suddenly feel so self-conscious? Bull Demon King just stepped on a piece of land and continued to leap forward. He jumped dozens of steps like that. Looking back at the Formula One racing car without a rearview mirror, Bull Demon King realized that there seemed to be no one behind him. It shouted to the spirit flower and slowed down a bit. Looks like there's no Siging soldiers following us. It seems like we've been able to cut off our tail. As soon as I finished the sentence, God Cupid's love arrow shot at me immediately. Perhaps he was afraid that the Bull Demon King had no one to pursue him, so he created something to chase him for fun. But the Bull Demon King refused such things. The arrow stuck straight into the ground where it had just flown, creating a violent explosion. Long Dingard pulled out his synchronized golden bow and looked around, but couldn't see the Bull Demon King between his arrows. His reaction was also quite fast. He aimed so carefully that he was able to avoid it at the end. Bull Demon King and the flower jumped out and stood only a few meters away from where the arrow landed. The other guy stood on the ledge and continued to shoot. Kudos to you for avoiding my attack. I thought this guy could only talk but not do it. But the spirit flower felt something wrong was coming. It heard carefully, saw the two remaining long dead guards hairpins each with their swords rushing towards the Bull Demon King wanting to chop it up to make beef soup. Each guy unleashed a sharp slash as if complementing each other to create an X shape, blood splashing everywhere. The ground was full of thick blood from important cuts, all of which was the blood of the Bull Demon King, who was looking at the spot where his knife had been hit, gritting his teeth to keep from screaming. Turns out these guys feint the east and attack the west. Currently, the Bull Demon King and the Spirit Flower are in a pincer position, which sounds like it can still be removed, but it's actually very difficult. Bull Demon King carefully observed the people in front of him and assessed that these people all had very strong aura. Before direct collision, it realized that it needed to be careful when acting. Behind the mask of Long Din Guard are all experts, but Bull Demon King is not a guy who specializes in hiding in the house. He still feels his opportunity is somewhere around here. Winning against this group of people is not an easy task. The main problem that concerns it is the group of strange beasts that are still chasing behind. They may have lost track, but the spiritual power of this flower can still be felt from a very far distance, so they won't give up yet, as long as you two haven't returned to the reign of the kingdom. Now I understand why Divine Beings wants its employees to follow the group, must go in groups, not individually. It smiled silently with 10 teeth. On the outside it just seemed like it was cautiously observing its opponent. Hand over the spirit flower here. I will give you a way to live. Finally, one guy spoke up and discussed their goal, which was still the spirit power flower. After giving the spirit flower, the Bull Demon King will probably return. That won't happen. Anyone who dares to claim his belongings should try to jump in. As Bull Demon King gritted his teeth, the ground under the Long Din Guard's feet was pulled closer. They used all their strength to stand firm. They realized that it was not the ground that was being pulled closer, but that this was the increased gravity pressing tightly to the ground. If a buffalo does not roar, you think it is a gentle buffalo. Today Bull Demon King will teach them a lesson. I don't understand why he dares to come and set conditions with Bull Demon King. Long Din Guard tried his best to hold his body for a long time, but still couldn't stand it, and someone fell to one knee. The ground where his knee touched broke into a large piece due to the increasing gravity. Bull Demon King performed the skill Deadly Black Hole. Around it appeared a colored ball like the whole universe was put into a blender. This is how it turns itself into a star, continuously increasing its gravity to the point where the spirit flower can feel itself being pressed down. Basically, anything lighter will bear less force, but the spirit flower is also having to struggle to float up high. He was surprised and asked Bull Demon King what he wanted to do. "Don't you see?" Still asking. But it felt like it wasn't enough and wanted more, ignoring the bleeding forehead. Bull Demon King roared loudly, more stronger. The space outside the swirling sphere seemed to be sucked into the place where the Bull Demon King stood. It let out a roar, feeling like heaven and earth turned crazy in its hands. The place where the Bull Demon King stood darker and darker. The air above seemed to be sucked into its ball, making a sound like it was in outer space. The two unreal sublime tried to resist gravity, but at best they could only maintain the same position. Zhao Jiao and the big nose guy were flying through the jungle. At this point, he suddenly felt an unusual atmosphere. Even the jumping height is clearly reduced. Zhao Jiao realized that the more he went forward, the stronger gravity became. Is there a fight over there? He had to grit his teeth to maintain speed, but it was difficult to do. He planned to arrive a little later. A foot crushed the dirt under his feet, but it was not the Bull Demon King's foot, but the foot of a human being. That unreal sublime is not afraid of death. He challenges. Gravity is nothing for him to fear. This kind of power is too easy to deal with. The man's arm stretched forward challengingly. His other hand ripped open his shirt, revealing his toned six-pack body and a long, deep gash on his left chest. "Let me see if my body will defeat you first or your gravity will crush me first." Oh, I thought that blue-haired young man was the commander of the Long Dig Guard, but it turned out to be the person in front of him. Implementing a gravitational black hole takes a lot of effort and spiritual power. Looking at the person in front of him so confidently, the Bull Demon King also felt a bit angry. He gritted his teeth and stood in his sphere. The other man rushed forward with a fist in his hand. Unexpectedly, with such a high level of gravity, he could comfortably throw moves forward. But don't think he's the only one who can punch. Bull Demon King also knows how to punch. Its hand hit the other man's face straight, and he couldn't avoid it, only punching the Bull Demon King in the face. As a result, not everyone was punched, but the Long Din Guard man was not hit. He looked at the Bull Demon King's claws at the distance away from him, laughing hysterically at it. The fist of a strange beast is interesting, but not as good as mine. The fist hit the Bull Demon King's face. His forehead was still bleeding continuously, but his face showed no signs of fear. Unreal Sublime stepped back and clasped his hands a distance apart, bracing himself to perform the super domineering skill. The blue spirit power covered both sides and then transformed into hundreds and dozens of fists like a rain of fists in the Bull Demon King's face. It inevitably makes Unreal Sublime laugh out loud in amusement. "Ha ha ha ha, your strength is not enough. As incompetent as you cannot be my opponent." Just as he was about to jump up and punch a few more times at the Bull Demon King, the yellow power string from nowhere hit the masked face, causing the Long Dig Guard to fall back immediately. "If you can beat me, I can beat you too." Bull Demon King struck too quickly and neatly from below like a jaw hook, making the Unreal Sublime unable to keep up. It roared loudly, its eyes flashed, it turned over and changed hands to relieve fatigue. A blow to Unreal Sublime's body to stop talking, because Bull Demon King is not a talkative person. "I hate people who talk a lot." Its punch created an impulse on the ground, causing it to sink a large distance and hear a fierce rumble. But Long Din Guard has 3 people, not one guy. The arrow rushed through the dust to both sides, aiming straight at the Bull Demon King, who was about to strike another blow at the person in front of him. He let go of the person and used his hand to grab Cupid's arrow less than 10 centimeters from his face. The foot is pressed firmly against the ground but still bears its force and is pushed a very far distance. The ground under his feet was pressed down, spraying dust and smoke. When he was finally able to stop, the long-haired Unreal Sublime jumped to seize the opportunity with the sword in his hand. Bull Demon King was so focused on dealing with the arrow that he forgot to defend his back. When he suddenly turned around, there was no time left. Unreal Sublime's sword fell straight on his back. Blood splattered everywhere, but Long Din Guard was not satisfied. That one slash should have divided itself into 2 days when it touched the opponent's body. Why is there only one? I'm so angry. The Bull Demon King ate a sword and turned around madly with clenched teeth underneath his fiery yellow eyes. His hand was raised and it was difficult to see clearly. That unreal sublime had eaten something golden and rushed towards him, pushing him away. He screamed loudly and tried to fight back, but it was extremely difficult. Until the wind blew through the dust and clouds appeared on the ground, revealing a giant dragon sword stuck in the ground. On it was something yellow stuck deep into it. Unreal Sublime stood up from the pile of rocks, only to realize that the thing stuck on the knife was Cupid's arrow. Just now was still in the hands of the Bull Demon King. It grabbed the arrow and threw it towards Long Din Guard, causing him to fly nearly 20 meters away. The blue-haired guy on the brink shouted, "Seventh brother!" Eighth brother called to calm his nerves, but each brother was lying in a corner and couldn't help. So let's just let the blue-haired guy do it. An arrow shot made Bull Demon King struggle. This time he shot 10 arrows at once just to prevent Bull Demon King from getting too close to fight his brother. Oh my God, who knows? It's suddenly so cruel. Don't know anymore. Now the shot was so high that he couldn't avoid it in time. It's still injured. From the 10 arrows shot from the bow and arrow, hundreds of arrows separated like rain pouring down on the head of the second big brother of the Wuziu family. The Bull Demon King's silhouette was half black and half burned behind the rain that hit the ground, and he could not avoid it. The blue-headed guy from the Long Din Guard did not let it go and fired another rain of arrows, plowing the land below. Because he knew the two fainted brothers were not in the affected area, so he didn't worry about being hit by an arrow. Spirit Flower flew out from nowhere and shouted, "Stop! Its strongest is spirit power. It can't fly back to that guy and slap him, so it extends its influence to the other side, making him reel in confusion." I felt like the world around me stopped and some force was telling me to stop. But this unreal sublime guy is not psychologically manipulated as easily as the strange beasts in the forest. He only temporarily stopped attacking, but not on the Spirit Flower's side. The flower flew high out of the arrow's attack range. Looking down, I saw the tense situation, but couldn't do anything more, can only temporarily suppress him mentally. I can block the action, but not the insolent beak. Realizing that the Spirit Flower was manipulating his mind, he raised his face and cursed, "Damn flower!" But strangely, the flower was nowhere to be seen, only a huge black silhouette. It looked like the Bull Demon King's whole body was burned. In his hand was an axe, preparing to jump down and deliver a powerful blow. It roared, "Even if I die, I will drag you down to hell as a cushion." As long as it screams like that, it's not dead yet. It's still very healthy. That unreal sublime guy was the one who felt his death approaching. He looked up and took the Bull Demon King's axe blow. The soil and rocks in that area sank tens of meters deep and smoke rolled up in piles. Bull Demon King's entire body was covered in blood stains. It held the axe that had just been cut down for a long time with a dark face, the blade shining as if it had just been sharpened. The soil and rocks under its feet were like a large piece of wood that had been chopped into pieces. It stood quietly under the Spirit Flower when the wind dissipated and you could clearly see how tired it looked. But the Long Din Guard had avoided it and were now observing the Bull Demon King not far away. They gathered together and looked fine. No one died. The biggest guy standing at the end is holding half of the mask. The rest was thrown out by the Bull Demon King's punch, leaving a dent on his stomach. The blue-haired leader noticed the Bull Demon King. This guy doesn't challenge or anger him. Because in his mind, this Bull Demon King was too scary. With just the second move he could fight on par with the three of them combined. As they stood there watching, the Bull Demon King also stood there breathing heavily. Ever since he was stabbed in the back, he felt his steps were unsteady. All actions looked very strong, but in reality, they all come from the will. Using all his remaining strength, Bull Demon King's mind suddenly became gloomy. Could it be that this is the end? Not yet, it's not over yet. The fan meeting hasn't opened yet, but how can it end? The strange beasts from the water tiger had already chased them there, baring their teeth and claws to attack the Long Din Guard. Pay close attention to see Zhao Jiao and the big nose guy jumping around among the animals. They were about to finish off the Bull Demon King when they saw this scene. The Long Din Guard roared. It was a waste of effort. We were overtaken by them. Zhao Jiao was so happy that he ran until he could catch up. These two people are not in a position to fight. Even if they fight the Bull Demon King or 2-on-3 with the yellow-shirted ninja, they will still lose. After stealing the flower, activate the 36th move in the top strategy and quickly escape. Me too. Me too, guys. What's the point in saying that we run long distances and want to share? A group of wolves, snakes, and poisonous spiders flew over and glanced at the 7-colored flower right before their eyes. Don't try to miss it. It's so easy. What's so great about it?